Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the September Open Forum. And as you know, the meeting is being recorded and will be posted on our website on the Office of the Chancellor pages. I see people are coming in now, so maybe I'll just wait a few moments before we start. Well, I want to start this meeting with a very sad news and ask that we take a moment of silence for one of our very own, Dana Galloway, who was working in the Broadcast, Electronic and Media Arts department, a classified staff leader, a dedicated member of our community, of our family, a wonderful mother to her children. We're going to miss her a lot. And to her family, her children, our most sincere condolences. We'll just take a moment to remember her. Well, as you know, this is my third forum at the college, and I have taken this opportunity to share some of the events happening at the college, and I've also tried to answer as many questions as possible. And I have been helped and supported in that by Deputy Chancellor Gonzalez, Vice Chancellor Bogle, Associate Vice Chancellor Elizabeth Correa, and Leslie Milloy, my very own Chief of Staff, assisted by Linda Shore and Mary Grace Estaban. Today, as we start our, not today, but this our 7th week of school, return to campus is on everybody's mind. And we know we have been struggling with the return to campus. The San Francisco Department of Health has been monitoring the situation very carefully, and they've been following instructions given by the governor's office. And last week, we received some good news. Our request to offer some of the classes in person, it was a very short list, in fact, because we had to go according to the guidelines from the San Francisco Department of Health's office. They've granted permission for all the classes that we requested. And they have also granted permission for us to do the in-person registration for non-credit ESL classes at the centers and also at Ocean. Right now, Vice Chancellor Tom Bogle and Associate Vice Chancellor Elizabeth Correa are working with the appropriate groups on campus to ensure that the protocols that we have put in place are acceptable and can be adhered to by all the parties so that those in-person classes can start. We are also, in that same list, we also have the library. The Rosenberg Library is there. And hopefully, by next week, we should be able to bring these classes to campus and have the library open. We know how important the library is in the lives of not only our students, but also in the lives of our faculty. I'm going to turn this over now to Vice Chancellor Bogle. If there is anything else you want to add to that, Vice Chancellor Bogle, or have I covered almost everything?
Thank you, Chancellor. You covered nearly everything I was going to say. The only thing I'll mention is that from a classes perspective, our application to the Department of Public Health had to be based on classes that they were deeming essential. And so for us, what that meant was to focus on classes in our allied health areas, nursing, dental assisting, and a number of others. We also included in our application courses in construction, culinary, and automotive and motorcycle maintenance. I know that there are other parts of the college that are anxious to resume in-person instruction, and what I just want to say about that is we're going to focus on getting
Okay.
So you froze up there.
You froze, yeah, all right.
Actually, all of you froze.
All of us froze, okay, all right. I think you may be back now. I think we're back now.
Okay, so at the risk of repeating myself, I'll see if I can say the same thing a second time. And I'm sure I'll get notes if I say something different. Our application, the Department of Public Health limited the areas in which we could ask for in-person instruction. And they limited it to what they were considering to be essential areas. For us, that was allied health, nursing, dental assisting, but this also we also included in our application construction, culinary, and automotive and motorcycle maintenance. I know that there are other areas of the college that are anxious to resume in-person instruction, and we will once we're able to resume in the areas that we've already outlined, we will look to expand into additional areas.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Vice Chancellor Bogle. Well, as you know, Vice Chancellor Bogle and AVC Elizabeth Correa have communicated this information to the appropriate departments and students. But I'm asking them to, and I have asked them, and they're working on getting that now, to have that information distributed college-wide so that the whole college community knows what is happening. And the web page, the COVID-19 Return to Campus web page, will be updated on a very regular basis to reflect the new development for classes on campus, classes and the opening of essential services such as the library, the health center, and so on. Because we want not only the students that are affected or the faculty that are affected to be informed, but the whole college community to be informed so that they know what is happening at the college. Well, as you know, there probably, from my understanding, from what I heard today, there could be perhaps in the next few weeks additional information on some more areas of the college and other institutions of higher learning that could happen. The next topic I want to bring to your attention, because I know it has been on everybody's mind because I have received many calls and many emails about it, is student registration. I'm not going to say that our system is worse or better than other places, but all I will say to you is that we have some issues. We recognize that we have issues, and we are working very hard to address these challenges. And I have a meeting set up today, and I know that AVC Correa and Vice Chancellor Bogle, together with Deputy Chancellor Gonzalez, are working with many constituent groups on campus, and I want to make sure that students are included in that so that we can resolve this problem. It is not fair to our students, it is not fair to our faculty. In fact, it's not fair to anybody to have to be stressed out that much because of registration. We are doing everything we can, and in fact, yesterday we met with some department chairs, and I had the vice chancellors there to listen and to figure out how we can address those concerns and make it easier for our students. You know, spring registration is going to be here, not too far from now, and I want to make sure that we run all the testing that we can, that we get as many people involved in practicing and testing, and to even see if we have the capacity to carry such a huge load when registration begins. So right now, students also are helping in that task, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we should be able to resolve these situations, and registration might be smoother for the spring semester. As you know, it is not easy for our non-credit and our ESL students to register. I have worked with the department chair, and we have developed some new approach, creative approach. And I know that right now some of our faculty members are outreaching to those students. And in-person registration should be happening very soon. My understanding is perhaps as early as next week, we should be able to be doing some in-person registration for our ESL and our non-credit students. And since we are talking about registration and also about our technology, bear in mind that our technology is not new. We have a very archaic system, and we are doing our best to upgrade that technology. And one of the things we are doing is, you know, with the uncertainties that happen with earthquakes and other kinds of events that are unforeseen, unexpected, we need to be able to secure our data. We need to be able to have a continuation of the business we provide. There should be continuation of instruction, and we will be migrating our data to the clouds. My understanding is that that migration is taking place in November, and that as early as end of June and early July, information was sent out to the college community to prepare people. And right now, the concerned parties have been approached so that more testing can take place, so that when we roll over to the clouds in November, that rollover will be smooth and less painful, I would say. And I'm going to ask Associate Vice Chancellor Correa if there's anything that you need to add to that, to registration. And also after that, I will ask Deputy Chancellor Gonzalez if there's anything she wants to add about migrating to the cloud. ABC Correa.
No, just to reiterate the importance of the functional users testing from all of our areas to ensure that we have a smooth transition in November.
Okay. Deputy Chancellor Gonzalez, anything about the migration to the clouds?
No, it's I think long overdue, and so I really appreciate the efforts of the IT managers and the IT staff in leading this effort, and also reaching out and working with the functional users in each of the different departments. So again, it's not so much just the migration to the cloud, but we have so many third-party applications that are tied to Banner. So that's why the testing is absolutely critical. So it's not an option, it's not a recommendation, it's a requirement that you do the testing and you do so in a timely manner. So with that, I'll defer to Acting ABC Tom Danford if he's got any quick comments on that.
Nothing to add, Deputy Chancellor. Just again, it's extremely important that we test. And the reason being is it's easy to move to the cloud, the database, but all the connections to all our third-party products is the thing that probably has us the most concerned.
Thank you very much. The next thing is the budget. We keep saying it, and sometimes people may not think that the information is correct, that the data are correct. But the budget is a serious issue for the college. The college is facing significant challenges, and we have a lot of decisions to make to balance that budget. As you know, this has come to the attention of the State Chancellor's office and to the Accrediting Commission, to such a degree that they even monitor our budget meetings, they monitor our board meetings to see how we are handling that budget. And you probably know, because I did mention it at the PGC a couple of weeks ago, the Commission has placed the college on enhanced monitoring. A copy of that letter is on our accreditation website. Now, enhanced monitoring in itself is not a sanction. All it is that the Commission is letting us know that we have some serious issues going on at City College of San Francisco. We need to address those issues because the Commission is watching, and we have to be careful not to make any misstep. They cited in the letter that they sent to me that I posted on the website, I mean, you are welcome to read the letter. They cited that we have had deficits averaging $13.3 million over a 3-year reporting period. They cited that we have reduced, our cash reserve was reduced from $53 million, I repeat, $53 million to $575,000 over a 3-year period. I mean, this is a major red flag. How do you go through cash reserve of 53 million to 575,000 in 3 years? Net operating revenue ratio of negative 8.3% over a 3-year reporting period. Salaries amounting to 92.3% of total expenditures. Multiple leadership turnover. Well, I must say I'm guilty of that too, because I'm part of that multiple leadership turnover. And you all read the audit finding. The audit finding is done by an objective outside body that doesn't have any real connection to the college other than it was hired to do the job. You can read what the audit said. So all this put together, the Commission decided to place us on enhanced monitoring, meaning that they are watching us carefully. So we have to be very careful, and I have to reply to that letter by December 4, and letting them know that we are studying the case and that we are working on it and that we are working to address that deficit, coming up with a plan and with what we're going to be doing so that by the time 24-25 comes, when we will no longer be in the hold harmless phase, we will have a balanced budget and we will be able to pay all our bills. As you know, over the past 7-8 years or so, enrollment has been declining. Salaries have gone up, and we need to be able to address that. Next week, the board will have multiple budget subcommittee meetings. One of that meeting is the budget subcommittee meeting, which will end up becoming a special board meeting by the board from about 8:45 to 12 on the 8th of October. I mean, you're all welcome to attend and listen to the deliberations, and if there are actions, what action the board takes. Speaking also of budget, many people have talked to me about the unreliability of the information provided. I looked into all the information. I even was presented with numbers from some various leadership groups on campus. I looked at the numbers and I studied them. I worked with my staff, and it's a very simple explanation. The one thing that comes up is that I believe in May or June, there was an expenditure of close to $9 million relating to benefits. And in the tentative budget that was approved by the board in August, that $9 million were not there. So the question is, so what happened? How come we made such a big mistake of $9 million in the computation of health and welfare benefits for our salaried employees? Well, there were no mistakes. There was no miscalculation. In May, when that budget was computed, was prepared, the $9 million were there because we were paying for those health benefits out of the unrestricted general fund. At that point, we were not considering, when I say we, I mean, I should say the college administration, because I wasn't here at the time. College administration was not considering withdrawing money from the retiree trust fund. So therefore, that payment of $9 million or so was coming out of the unrestricted general fund. But in July, when we looked at the magnitude of the deficit, we needed much more money. It was at that point that the decision was made to withdraw around $21 or $22 million from the retiree trust fund. So when that money was withdrawn, the $22 million, automatically the $9 million of health of benefits, right, did not have to come out of the unrestricted fund anymore. It would come out of the newly withdrawn $21 million. So that's why when you saw the tentative budget that was approved by the board in August, you did not see that amount anymore. It was no longer a liability coming out of the unrestricted fund. I hope this explanation clarifies the doubt that some of you might have had about our ability to handle the data. I want to reassure you that at no point this administration has the intention of misleading people, of creating numbers, of just coming out of the blue and picking a number out of a hat. We would never do anything like that. I said to you from my first day here that I will be transparent, candid, and truthful with you. If you have questions about the budget, if there are numbers that disturb you, please ask, and we will do our best to explain those numbers to you. Deputy Chancellor Gonzalez, was my explanation satisfactory, or did I miss anything in that $9 million, or that number? Was that explanation fair and correct?
Yes, yes, it was right on point. And the other thing I also want to point out is that we were also trying to work simultaneously with the unions on concessions. And for a number of reasons, we weren't able to secure concessions in a timely manner, which then, you know, initially we were looking at a $5 million withdrawal from the retiree health trust fund, and that number grew. So that's the only other thing that I would add to your explanation.
Thank you. As we move on, and I know on campus there are talks, apprehension, fear that this administration is out to cut programs. I want to reassure everybody. I've said it in public meetings, PGC, and I will say it here again for all of you to hear. It is not the intention of this administration to discontinue any program. Program discontinuance under no circumstance would lead to any significant savings to plug the deficit of the magnitude that CCSF has. Were we a small institution, that would be different, but we are not. We offer, currently we offer close to 2,500, I think 2,700 sections per semester. An institution that offers that many sections in one semester should have no difficulty meeting the needs of programs. We are going to be working with all of you. I've asked Vice Chancellor Bogle to work closely with the department chairs, the divisions, and everybody else as we do our scheduling, so that we can have a schedule that meets the needs of our students, would take into consideration the various points where students are on their path to graduation, look at the needs of students, what is it that they need, what classes they need, and we are going to prepare that schedule with your help so that we will not discontinue programs. We don't have, as a matter of fact, we don't have any objective yardstick to do that. If we want to remain a comprehensive institution of higher learning, it is important that we offer a variety of programs. We have a program like nursing. It's a very expensive program. Are we going to discontinue nursing? We have dental. Are we going to discontinue dental? Small program, expensive program. Journalism program. Are we going to discontinue journalism program? In fact, as a matter of fact, journalism just won all the awards, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, at some competition they entered this past weekend or the weekend before. All right. So are we going to discontinue a program that prepares students to get jobs in nursing homes or in other healthcare facilities? We are not going to do that. We want to serve the community. We want to be an institution of higher learning. We want to respect the expertise our faculty bring to the forefront. And likewise, I want to thank the administration that we have for the dedication that they show as they prepare the budget, as they help the college move forward, as they help us with accreditation, as they help us everywhere that they have to help us so that we can continue as a successful institution. I think this is about all I had to share with you, and I would be delighted to entertain your questions, and if I can't answer your questions, my staff is right here. Deputy Chancellor Gonzalez is here, Vice Chancellor Bogle, Associate Vice Chancellors Correa and Danford are here. Leslie Milloy, my Chief of Staff, is here, and anything else, Sean Yee will be able to give you all the answers, and Grace will also be able to provide answers if we have to. All right, and Abdul Nasser, ABC of Finance, is also here to answer questions. So any questions you have, Sean, please direct us to questions.
Yeah, so our first question is going to be asked by Marie Osborne. Marie, you can go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay. Thank you, Sean. Hello?
Hello, yes.
Welcome, Chancellor Vurdien. My question is, just for clarification, did you say that we had $53 million and we are now down to $575,000?
I don't make that number up. Yes, that's exactly what I said. That's in the letter that the commission sent to us.
Okay,
Said that over 3 years we went down from $53 million to $575,000 in cash reserve.
Okay.
You can read the letter on the webpage under accreditation.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, I will do that.
Right.
But if that is the case, you spoke to 9 million of that gone and how it was spent. What happened to the rest?
No, the 9 million has nothing to do. This is different.
Oh, okay.
That I'm talking of the budget for 2021.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there was a concern raised by people. I mean, rightfully so, because unless we understand how the numbers work and where money comes from, it was very clear, because in the May tentative budget, there was a line showing that we were paying benefits to the tune of $9 million. But in the tentative budget that was approved in August, we had removed that amount because that amount was not coming from our general fund. But the $53 million I'm referring to that is in the letter from the commission.
Right, for the last 3 years.
That's a different amount of money that the college went through in 3 years.
Does the college have any knowledge of how we spent it? Do we have an itemized list of how that money was spent? Otherwise, we'll never get a handle on how not to spend so much in the future.
Well, staff, as soon as we get a free moment, staff will finish that work. And once that work is done, and I am satisfied that they have gone through the whole thing and can explain the $53 million that was spent over that 3-year period, I will make sure that the college community becomes aware of it after the board has gone through it and the board has given its approval over that. And I will make sure the college community knows how that money was spent.
All right, thank you.
Next question.
All right, if you have a question, please raise your virtual blue hand. We'll get you in the queue. Here we go.
Dana?
Dana, go ahead. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
This is Diana Garcia, Chair of World Languages and Cultures.
Mhm.
And you say that you don't plan to eliminate, the administration doesn't plan to eliminate any programs,
Mhm.
but when our department budgets have been reduced so much, then it's an indirect way of reducing programs, because the budgets cannot sustain all the programs that we offer. In World Languages, for example, we offer 9 languages,
Mhm.
but our departmental budget has been reduced so much, it cannot sustain all languages. So I've had to stop offering some of the languages, including languages that were successful. Especially with the Student Center funding formula, I've had to focus on the degree granting language programs, right? I have to focus on them with the budget that I'm given. And
Well,
I've had to stop offering. So it's like saying to someone, I'm not starving you. I gave you an apple for the whole week.
I don't think it works like that, Professor Garcia. What I'm saying is that with the number of sections that we offer, we will be able to address the needs of all the programs that we have. Now, when you speak of your budget being reduced, I see the reduction of your budget would probably be in instructional supplies and things like that. But when it comes to the courses that are being offered, the college takes care of that. Isn't that the case, Vice Chancellor Boko? Or do you give them a certain amount of money and you tell them that spend that money?
Our FTE compared to a year ago has been reduced almost 50%. So as let's say 2018, I had 26 FTE.
Yes.
Now I have 15 FTE, and a part of that comes from the high school programs, right? And City Online. So yes, my budget has been reduced significantly.
We will be looking at all that. See, sometimes when we speak in terms of FTEF and so on, the general community, people in general, the students in general, the communities in general, don't really understand what we are saying. It sounds like we're speaking a foreign language.
No, I do.
No. Let me finish that, and I will address I will explain to you.
The language of FTE.
No, what I'm saying, what we're going to be doing is we'll be looking at the number of sections we offer. If you tell me you have 10 languages and there is a demand for those languages, the Vice Chancellor will work with you so that those languages get offered. And as you are saying, since those languages are very successful and the enrollment is very high, okay, we will be offering them.
But you said that small programs could be that small program. They are some of these languages are very small because they're they fall into the category of the lesser taught languages such as Russian. So they're very small. But earlier you said that small programs would be protected.
They will be protected, but I'm not saying that you will be offering 5 sections of Russian every semester. If you're telling me this is a very small program with 5 students, it's going to be very hard for us to justify offering 5 sections of Russians every semester. Okay? We will have to be realistic in that too. We're going to protect all programs, but at the same time, we have to be realistic in how we offer classes. We
Yes.
have to offer classes efficiently, right? So that we can protect all programs, but at the same time, we're not going to be wasting our offering section just for 1 student
No,
or
no,
2
I
students.
understand.
You
Yes,
understand what I'm saying?
yes, I understand. Yeah, so I hope that I would like my budget increase, especially also to be able to offer once again the American Sign Language program, which is an extremely successful, and there's a
Yes.
huge demand for this program, and
Yes.
it's been reduced and limited to just the high school programs because thanks to Dean Meg Hudson, who has kindly funded 2 classes at the high schools.
Mhm.
And I, out of my departmental budget, I fund 1. So I like to have that budget increase so that I can offer
Well,
this program once again.
the Vice Chancellor will work with you so that we can schedule our classes, our sections in a very efficient manner to benefit our students.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next up we have Jing. Jing, you can go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hi, Sean. I don't have a question. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Lane, you're up next.
Hi, Chancellor Vurdien.
Hi, Elaine.
Hi, my name's Elaine Avarice. Thank you for holding these sessions. And I'm the chair of the Learning Assistance Department here at City College. We're a small but mighty department. In a small department, we teach college success classes. We oversee the Writing Success Project, which was highlighted in your most recent letter.
Right.
And we also run the largest peer tutoring program on campus. And for example, we provide tutoring in chemistry, physics, math, world languages such as ASL, and other disciplines and subjects. We predominantly use peer tutoring. Understandably, over the years, we've had some challenges with funding for our student tutors due to the pay increases that the city of San Francisco offers. So our students finally are receiving living wages, which is up to $16.07 currently. And in that time frame, our budget has been drastically reduced, and we have not been able to keep up with the pay increases that our students receive. We did receive, and I want to thank, Vice Chancellor Bogle, Tom Bogle, as well as administration for awarding us with a large amount of student tutoring funds this semester, which we have in a short amount of time of a month. We've developed in conjunction with the Distance Ed Department an online peer tutoring program where our students can provide tutoring remotely with supervision in a variety of subjects. And so I provide this overview because I really am hoping that in the budget planning, there is a plan to continue supporting a large peer tutoring program that has, oversees, that provides supervision and provides student jobs to our students, which ultimately helps with retention. It helps students, feel successful, and it helps them prepare better for transfer and scholarship applications. And it really supports the college students with student tutors who understand, what they've been through. I really want to make sure that that is part of the development in our budget, that we don't overlook our student tutors. And my second hope is that, I've been reading a lot about the diversity of faculty, and yet I hear that, we have hiring freezes. I would love to diversify my department. I have some wonderfully qualified, part-time faculty that would be exceptional as full-time faculty. And I also would love to open the pool and offer full-time positions to qualified candidates. My question is that a possibility in the future while we are drastically cutting budgets to ultimately commit to being more diverse and equitable in the faculty that we hire?
Well, I think the college is moving in that direction of making a commitment to diversify the faculty, diversify staff, and everything at the college.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that commitment will continue, but how quickly will it happen? That's a different question.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it yourself. Currently, we are not hiring. There is no freeze on hiring, but we are very careful as we hire, because when we have a deficit to the magnitude of $20 million, and where salaries and benefits are eating close to 93% of our unrestricted fund, that leaves us with absolutely no money for practically nothing else. It's going to be a little bit difficult.
Correct.
And on top of that, the size of the college has significantly decreased. At a point in time, it was about 33,000 full-time equivalent students, and now it has dropped to 18,500 full-time equivalent students.
Mm-hmm.
And the faculty that were hired are still here.
Correct.
We had faculty to address a college of 33,000 full-time equivalent students. And that same number of faculty is here when the college has dropped down to 18,500, which makes it even more difficult because we have a huge charge, a huge expense item connected to salaries and benefits. Okay, so, but the commitment is here. To your first question about peer tutoring and continuing to fund the peer tutoring program, as you know, there is money available, and I don't know, probably ABC Elizabeth Correa is better placed to answer that question. The Triple SP fund is made available. Is that correct, ABC Correa?
Thank you, Dr. Vurdien. So we do contribute through our AB 705 funding, which is a part of the SEA, and our equity funding has also been supporting tutors.
Right.
My understanding will continue to support those with our current allocation.
Thank you very much for that update. And I would like to clarify that historically, the Learning Assistance Department has been using unrestricted funds, and that is because we meet Title V guidelines to continue to collect apportionment for the college. And so over the years, we have been able to use those numbers to provide, value to our small but mighty department. As categorical funds step in, we are extremely appreciative of the categorical funds that step in and provide tutoring services to our students, which they have been doing, as well as peer tutoring. However, I'm hoping that as we build out this budget, we don't look at our student tutoring program as a service that should be limited by either categorical funds of what's available, as opposed to also using unrestricted funds, which allows for much more flexibility in how we move forward. And it also allows us to collect apportionment for the college. And selfishly for my department, that gives our department a much larger voice to be able to come to the table. So as a department that teaches college success classes, is a learning assistance department that supports peer tutoring and collaborates with some of the larger degree-seeking departments, we really need to maintain our credibility and our reputation with the college and not get lost in the mix, because that value of bringing apportionment to the college is no longer looked at. And so I just want to clarify that, that while we appreciate categorical funds, sometimes the college does look at that and not see it as a cost benefit analysis. And so I hope that would be something we take into consideration. And I appreciate your feedback on the hiring. I would like to say that, as in the projections that were being shared in several budget options, eliminating a large portion of part-time faculty is definitely on the table. And if you look at the data that the Human Resources Department recently shared, a large proportion of our part-timers do identify as persons of color and persons of additional marginalized as well as diversified populations. And so I want us to meet our commitment of not eliminating those faculty while also intentionally trying to offer positions full-time, hopefully, to very qualified candidates.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Alvarez, and your point is well taken, and we will do our best to
I understand.
preserve
Thank
everything.
you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next up we have Harry Bernstein. Can unmute yourself there, Harry.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for hearing us. So I have a couple minutes. I'd like to just make a statement and ask some questions about the, I guess, budget situation. Your predecessor, Mark Rocha, acknowledged that the ability to raise funds would be expected of him. He touted his expertise in that area. However, I've heard that there is no interest in bringing in additional funds to the district in spite of the immense needs. The budget planning relies on cuts of faculty. As you know, there was already a reduction of part-time faculty between 2018 and 2020 of 1/3, that is from 800 to 525, and now there are fewer part-time faculty than full-time for the first time in memory. On the 22nd of September, there were 4 5-year budget scenarios presented at the PGC Budget Committee, and they call for further cuts next year ranging from 25 to 40%. The year after that, the cuts range from a low of 4% to a maximum of 90% for the foreseeable future. I realize that part-time faculty have no tenure and are obviously vulnerable for that, but it's when you cut faculty to that extent, you also reduce offerings. So please consider the consulting budget. I don't think the average student or faculty knows what the dollars for consulting are bringing them. The legal budget is increased compared to 2018, I believe, and there are massive purchase orders in the millions of dollars. I understand that the Board of Trustees meetings years ago had a definite section devoted to going over the purchase orders and trying to explain why such and such a company had an order for $1 or $2 million or 750,000, and that is not done. Those are consent items at the moment.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Bernstein.
Support programs. Okay, thank you.
Okay, the need, intention, and desire to seek additional funding has never gone away. We all want to do that. But there is a difference between seeking funding and unrestricted funding. All the funding that is available out there that we are all aggressively seeking is known as categorical or restricted funding. They come with very specific strings attached. You are told how to spend the money. Our problem is not in that area. Our problem is with unrestricted funding that we need for ongoing salaries and benefits and utilities and instructional supplies and equipment. That's where our problem is, because that kind of funding you don't get. People don't give you money and tell you, just go ahead, pay your faculty with that money. We're giving you money for your faculty. They don't do that. Okay? As far as the other expenditures that you are referring to, such as contracts and purchase orders and so on, most of these come out of categorical funds or special funds provided by the state for those specific expenditures. So we want to raise more money, and we're doing our best to get that. But they do not help us in the resolution of our budget deficits, because our budget deficits come from unrestricted money that we do not have.
What are you doing to raise that money that you said the efforts are being made?
Well, we're going through grants. We are applying for them. In the past few weeks, if you will see that we've received more than $3 million in grants. Okay, so we go after all that. Okay, it's the unrestricted fund that is the problem. It's the same problem that foundations have. Foundations receive money from people. Some of them give millions of dollars, but they make it very clear our money is being given only to be distributed as scholarships. So somebody has to come up with the money to pay the people that work in those foundations. That's what most foundations associated with colleges run through deficits, because they can't get the money, they can't raise the money to pay their staff, to pay for their rent. Okay, so this is the problem we have. We receive the apportionment, which is unrestricted, but that money is not enough to cover our expenditures.
Well, let me.
That's why we have to figure out ways of what we need to be doing. We have to, currently, our salaries and benefits come to 92.5% of our unrestricted funds. So there's no more money left to do anything after that. Okay.
Dr. Vurdien, I want to bring up one other thing, which is very much in the news.
Yes.
And you've heard of Proposition 15.
Yes.
It's not money in the bank. You can't count on it. But if it does come in, that's many, many millions of dollars for the college. When the college has received money from the voters like that in the past, even though it's supposed to go for programs, the college has decided not to spend it in that way. But with that possibility, I'd like to know what the college administration will do to pursue that money, to encourage people to vote for that money. The union is doing something along that line, but since that is exactly the kind of money that is unrestricted that you're talking about that we need, what can you think the college can do to support the request for that money in the next 26 days or so? That would show me that you want to bring in more money.
That's a political question that you can address to the Board of Trustees. They are the political representatives of the institution. We, the administrators, we take our instruction from the board when it comes to influencing voters. That's a question you can bring to the Board of Trustees and ask them if they are doing something to support it or not. Administration cannot get involved in that.
I guess I'm not persuaded, but I hear your statement to that effect.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, we have one last question. Amy, you can unmute your mic.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Dr. Vurdien. I'm a working student who received a Chromebook and hotspot from the college. However, I exceeded the 2 gigabytes per month. I believe it was raised to 10 gigabytes per month.
Okay.
But upon my research, it is approximately going to allow me only 10 hours. If I were enrolled into classes for, if I'm taking 12 units, the 10 gigabyte a month would not be enough for someone who cannot afford internet, and on top of homework and conference Zoom sessions, I also need some research done. So I was wondering if the college would be able to increase this data for each student who has been given the opportunity to avail of the Chromebook and the hotspot, and also because there are still Chromebooks out there that's available. And so is there a way that we can perhaps increase the data for those who do have and need it?
Well, that's a question that I will turn over. I'm going to have the IT department and the college administration look at.
Okay.
Okay, well, we'll have them look at it, and if we can do anything, we will help. But it is something that we will have to consider first, because we have about currently more than 30,000 people who are taking classes here, and we need to figure out what is the average amount of time a student would be using that computer for research that would draw on a lot of gigabyte. So once they study that, I'm going to ask them to work on that very quickly, and then we should be able at that point to provide an answer. Okay?
Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Well, we'll take a last question. It's 2:50, so we'll take one more question. Sean, one last question.
All right. Any other hands out there? Last questions? Going, going, gone? Not seeing any hands, so I think we're going to call it at that then, Chancellor.
Okay, well, we thank you very much for attending, and I hope I've been able to address some of the issues that you have. And remember, we will have another one next month and every month, I mean. And you know that because of everything that is happening, especially the budget and the concern that people have, we had a listening meeting last week, and we will have one more tomorrow, where we're not going to answer questions, but we will be listening to what you have to say, listening to your suggestions as to some of the things we could be doing and should be doing at the college to better serve our students and, after all, the community as well. Okay? I thank you again for being here today. Have a great Wednesday and a great week. And hopefully I'll see you next week at the board subcommittee meetings, and in 3 more weeks at the board meeting. All right. Remember, if you have questions or anything, you are free to email me, text me, and I will do my best to address your concern. Okay. Thank you again. Have a great week. Thank you.